Hey YouTubers, well it's about 4 days later from when we glued in the stringers and they are completely dry. I guess I must have had a bad tube of PL when I was making the fillets on the backside because these dried just perfectly fine. But then again, I put a fan on them for 3 days to keep air moving across them, so I guess that may have helped out a little bit. But they are dry, hard as a rock, so we're ready to throw in the fillets. Today we went out and picked up some more supplies and little spoons and stuff like that to make fillets. And we're gonna go down and put down a whole bunch of this fillets on all the two stringers we put in. And then I'm gonna use PL glue, or not PL glue, peanut butter to glue down the center stringer so that way we can keep moving fairly quickly. Then we'll cut down the center stringer and maybe if we get lucky, we'll be able to start putting some glass down today. It'll get a little bit of a late start, it's no big deal. I'm not really trying to kill myself building this thing, so I slept in a little bit this morning. And now we're getting started, it's probably about 11 o'clock. So let's go over here and take a look at where things are now, and we'll go from there. So as what you can see, this is where we left off. We had the 5-gallon buckets of resin holding down the stringers. We had the little piece right there spreading them out, and a battery on the back. You want to make sure you keep some weight on them so that way it just holds them in place. And then so now we're going to take all the weight off and start cleaning, vacuum all the scrimtions and stuff out of here, and then start putting down some peanut butter to make fillets on this, because I have a pretty good little gap right here. You can see we're going to fill all of that in to make a transition to this stringer right here. And then once we're all done, we're going to knock that out so that way it holds it at its bent position. And then we're going to glue this guy in. Now you notice it's not bent anymore. Look at that, straight as an arrow. I screwed a 2x4 to it just to hold it like what you would with braces in your teeth. And then once we get this thing glued in, we'll unscrew it and then cut this thing to length. And I have it kind of already somewhat marked right here, but we'll do that once we get inside the boat. So here we go. Time to don the masks and go from here. All right, well you can see that all the stringers are peanut buttered in with the nice fillet. It goes down, they're nice and, oh, they're still a little wet right there and a little hot. This is the front, it's been about 30 minutes or so. It's about 73 degrees in the garage, and mixing this at 1%, it's still taking about an hour for it to completely kick. The stuff we put down back here is hard as a rock already. It is done, ready for fiberglass. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna knock out that center piece, get it completely out of the way, and then get this thing ready to go down with this center strake right here. We're going to clean this once again with acetone, make sure it's nice and clean, and then we're going to put this thing, glue it in, and then let it dry also. And then once we're doing that, we're going to cut a piece of wood and get this thing set in here for the bottom and glue it in for the bulkhead. And then we're going to fill this back spot back here so that way water cannot go back up underneath and soak our center stringer ever again. So anyway, so far so good. Everybody's got their masks on, and it is definitely stinking up the house. I think the little lady's starting to get a little upset about that, but there's not much I can do because it's too cold outside to do this outside. So okay, what I'm doing here is I decided to go ahead and cut this stringer outside the boat. So what I did is I just took a 2x4 across this way, and I marked it right here. And then before I put the stringer in, I did the same thing back here, across, and then I measured down to the hull at a certain spot, and then I added 1/8 of an inch. The reason I did that is that whenever we cut this, it'll be just a teensy bit too tall, but we can use our belt sander to get it exactly where we want it whenever we get it in here. It's just going to prove to be a little bit easier to mess with if we go ahead and cut this to a certain length. So that's what we're going to do right now. See you in a bit. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Got it.
Okay. Okay, I'm in.
You happy with that?
I'm happy with this.
All right, hold it level if you can, okay?
All right, so the center stringer is peanut buttered in 100%. Well, I say 100%. We got to go back and do a little bit of, like, I need to fair across right there so the fiberglass will lay nice and neat. We went ahead while we were waiting for this to kick off. We cut the little bulkhead that's going to go right here, and had a kind of a pleasant surprise. Remember the little fake transom I made just to get the right angle and everything like that? I was able to use the bottom side of that. It was the exact same flow, exactly the same as this part. So all we did was cut up and across, and that's a little sticky still, but look at that. Perfect. Done. So now what we need to do is we're going to take off this 2x4 that was used as kind of like a brace to keep this thing from bending out, and see if it actually stopped it from bending out. And then we're going to go and mix up a little bit more peanut butter, and we're going to finish it out. We're going to glue this piece in right here, and then we're going to give it a nice good clean and start cutting fiberglass, because that's our next thing, is starting to lay down 1708. And what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 layers of 1708, and like I said before, I'm going to try to do one up and over all the way down. Not sure how well that's going to work out, but we are certainly going to try.